Hello, and welcome to the Shoot Reload podcast. I am your host, a practical as buck, and I'm sitting down tonight with my awesome, lovely, and talented co-host, Charles, aka Dad.
Good evening.
Been a few months? Not a month, probably a few weeks since we recorded our last podcast.
Yeah, it was after the incident in San Antonio.
Yeah, after the hose fest, after the whole DQ thing. October 17th is what my phone says, so a little bit less than a month. So uh, we are on here. We have I wanted to do a listener question episode, so I put one out, put out a feeler, and I got a few questions. But before we do that, why don't we go ahead and talk about what we've done in shooting the last few weeks? Why don't you go ahead and go first?
I shot in a local match this weekend, a USPSA match. I did really well. I slowed way down as my times were slow, but my accuracy was 100% better in my opinion. So,
Do you think slowing down helped the accuracy?
yes, I
Okay,
do.
so you think going slower helped you get more alphas?
Yes, because if I don't know if you saw the results, but I had a bunch of them.
Yes, I did see you had a bunch of alphas. Do you think on some of the stages you could have went a little faster and taken some Charlies?
Yeah, probably. But I'll be honest with you, the first stage, my whole deal was is make sure my gear was going to run right.
Yeah.
And then once I made sure all of that was, I had no issues. It was running great. Then I was just concentrating on uh, on my aim. I think I've been getting a little lazy with that, you know, and
Like just by
it's all going to come together. I think my biggest deal was just making sure my gear was going to run right.
um I think it's kind of easy to get lazy with your sight picture. I kind of learned that the hard way when when I moved to the dot, because with the dot it's real easy just to kind of, I saw the dot flash on there and slap the trigger, but you still, on far targets and tough shots, you really still have to do your part. So awesome.
We
Once
had some that were at a really goofy angle. I mean, uh, not quite 180 what you were shooting. I mean, they had like a string of like 10 targets like that, and it's kind of hard to explain, because you're up close, but you're shooting down the line. You have to shoot through a window right and left to hit them. And what was funny, that stage you only threw one shot at it, and going back to the sight picture, I thought I shot some Charlies on a couple of them, so I threw another shot at it just to make sure.
right.
And when we scored it, they were both alphas. It was just the angle I was looking at it.
Yeah, that's weird. One shot per target's pretty fun though. It's a little different.
Yeah, that one would, what did I say? That one had 32, 34 targets.
Yeah, that's because when we shot that hose fest, some of them we had to shoot three times each, and that's tough because you're usually going pop 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 pop. Instead of not when you have to shoot three, it's pop 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 pop. You're like pop pop, oh crap, pop
Yeah.
pop, oh crap, pop. So that's cool. Why don't you talk about your your little toy you got for your birthday?
Yes, my wonderful family got together and got me a Dillon Precision XL 650 bullet maker.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Pretty
And I've been spending all day today mounting it, uh, trying to get it set up. I've got a few issues. User error. I keep going back and looking at the directions. I'm close. I just got a few more things to set and adjust, and I think we're on. So
And yeah, it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna be able to make bullets or make ammunition so much faster than before. So that'll be good.
That's true. Than that RCBS single stage.
Yeah, I mean that's a good press, but I think, and I know you enjoyed doing it the other way, but I think you'll be a little happier because you can crank out, a little more ammo, a little faster, and shoot, you put a case speeder on that bad boy, you can just sit like that video I sent you today, sit there and just crank out bullets. So maybe if you get it set up before Christmas, I'll bring down some bullets and I'll I'll load some bullets on there.
Oh, I plan on having everything set up so when you come down here, you can make me some bullets.
Okay, well that works. I'll do it. I'll do it.
No, we'll load whatever you want to, but I do need to run some 40s.
Awesome. Is there anything else going on in the shooting world for you other than
One
that?
thing I wanted to go back to on my match Saturday, I was real self conscious, and at the end of each string, I extended my arm all the way when I racked a slide back.
So we learned from our quote mistake, I guess, from Hostfest.
I still say I didn't do it, but yes.
The general consensus from the internet is that you did not DQ yourself. I actually sent the video and the question in to the guys over at the Paracast, and they all kind of agreed with us as well. I just think that dude had a bad angle, or he got freaked out that you stopped. So, live and learn. Everything's happens for a reason. So,
Oh, on that subject also, the guy that was running the timer, we had one stage that they had three point blanks in the middle of the stage, two in the front, one in the back. So when we were getting ready to make ready, I told him to walk with me, and I showed him how I was going to shoot the stage. I was basically going to shoot the two front ones point blank, run to the far left, and then start working a circle. And I told him when I ran by, I was going to shoot that other point blank one. And I just wanted him to be aware of it so he's not in the way. He said he understood. Man, they hit the buzzer. We went to shooting. When I ran by that one, I turned to shoot it, and he wasn't in the firing line, but he was damn close. It scared me. And I yelled at
that's
him to move. And the good thing was I did not have my finger on the trigger when I turned, but I told him to move. He backed up real quick. I shot that one, and then I went ahead and finished the string. And he did come up and apologize. He goes, "Man, I'm sorry." He said, "You told me that." And he said, "I apologize."
wow.
But I was watching for him because, you know, it was close, but and then the next one we had kind of a goofy one. So I told him what I was going to do again on that one. It was just the way you had to move. And he understood. And then I told him again. He goes, "Yeah, I know. You just told me." And I go, "Well, I only told you once the last time. I want to make sure you understand this time." He was a nice guy, but it was funny. I'm just thankful that I was watching for him.
Welcome back to the Shoot, Reload, Repeat podcast. We do apologize for these technical difficulties. To kind of sum up the story, we tried to record Dad telling the story about 5 times, and the recording on Skype isn't working. So just basically, Aro almost got in his way, and then Dad told me to move, and that's about it. And if you've met my dad, it doesn't surprise you. So um,
What does that mean?
I don't know if I've talked about what I'm doing, but just when you guys are hearing this, it'll be on the Thursday before Area 59. So I will be shooting my first level 2 match this weekend. Never shot a level 2 match before. I'm really, really excited about it. Um, I'm not really setting any expectations for myself. I think I'm just gonna go and shoot and have fun. I'm shooting with a couple guys. I'm gonna meet up with Trevor Carter, who I had on the podcast. I think we're gonna have dinner. There's another guy that I've been talking to on Instagram. He lives out in Houston, and he actually squatted with me. We're gonna shoot together, so it'll be a good time. So if you're listening to this and you are shooting the Area 59 Championship, I am shooting AMAM schedule. I am Squad 305. So feel free to come up and say hello to me, and I will be signing autographs for a nominal fee. So if y'all want to come get a signed
Come on,
autograph,
man. Just do it for free this time.
I gotta bring some revenue into the podcast.
Or more sponsors would help.
And maybe I might be I'm working on some stuff. Okay, so on Facebook, I put out a feeler for some questions. I got a few questions. So I got a few. So some of these are from Facebook. Some of them are from the Instagrams. So from Facebook, Brian Knoll asked, why do people think new or different gear will help them improve in USPSA classification? What do you think?
I go back to golf. You know, a lot of people think if they buy a set of pings, and I guess pings are still at the top of the line golf clubs now, they'll play better. But I don't know. It could be part of your mindset too. You think you got better gear, you may rely on your equipment more and do that. Your thoughts?
Um, so my thoughts on USPSA classification, I could really care less what I'm classified as. Um, because even though I'm C class and carry optics, I feel like I don't shoot like a C class shooter, but that could just be me being an idiot. I don't think it helps them improve their classification, but good gear does help. Like it doesn't make you a better shooter. If you go buy double alpha belt and a Red Hill tactical holster, and a brand new, CZ Shadow SP01 or CZ Shadow 2, it's not going to make you a better shooter, but I think it does help you. I just recently upgraded to the double alpha premium belt. The belt I was running before was from Midway USA. It was their brand belt. I had that belt for a few years. It's not a bad little starter belt, but this belt is definitely way better. It's way more rigid, and so I noticed last night and this weekend when I was training, when I was doing my reloads, my magazine, like my old belt, I don't know if just the belt was weak, the inner belt wasn't very good. My magazines would move when I would try to grab them. Like the whole belt would move. And I find when I'm using this belt, things are just more solid. But is that going to jump me up to master
Interesting.
class? Why? What do you say? Interesting.
I guess I just never paid a whole lot of attention to my gun belt, but my gun belt's pretty good.
Well, yeah, because who bought it for you?
You,
Yeah, we just gotta get you a new holster, I think. But that's all
what's
good.
wrong with the holster?
It's all right. It's an okay holster. But
I put I put some Vaseline in it so it slides out easier.
oh god dang it.
I'm kidding.
Uh, I don't think it helps your classification. I don't think it's gonna if you're a D class shooter, buying a new belt, buying a new gun, you're still gonna be a D class shooter with nice gear. It might help you be more consistent, but if you're not practicing, you're not doing your part, it doesn't really matter. So that's just kind of what I think. Um, and I know like some people, them shooting like I've heard some people saying like them shooting 9mm and then moving to 40. Um, when they move to 40, they really have to have a good grip on the gun because with a 9mm, if you don't have a good grip on the gun, you can still kind of let it rip and you'll be okay. But with a 40 caliber 45, major power factor round, that doesn't really happen.
True.
So I think that's all I got. I wouldn't worry too much about your classification. Some people are real caught up on it. I know me and you were. I don't know how you feel, but to me, and I heard the new classifiers that are coming out soon. They're going to have a little bit more movement in them, so there'll be a little bit more like stage skills. But to me, classification just kind of says that you can shoot fast, you can draw fast, you can reload fast. That doesn't necessarily always translate to your performance in a match. So, but hey, this is a podcast with a D class and a C class shooter, so take it what it's worth, right? Take it with a grain of salt. Okay, you got anything to add to that? I'm not
No,
talking.
I think confidence is a whole lot too.
Yeah,
Because like I said, once I realized that my gear was going to run at this shoot last Saturday, then I felt like I shot better. And my score sheet, don't look at the time, look at the score sheet. The score sheet proved it. You know.
yeah. I think it just kind of makes you feel better. Like your stuff's gonna run. That's kind of how I was when I first started reloading that ammo. When I had those squibs, and once I finally got my ammo figured out, I felt good about it. So
Yeah. It's one less thing off your mind you don't have to worry about.
yes. All right. So let's answer our next question. I think we did a pretty good job of answering that. So
If we didn't, please feel free to follow up another question.
yes, thanks Brian for asking a question, making us feel very special.
Oh, and before we get off, I got a PCC story to tell you. Go ahead.
All right. So a whole lot of freedom, all underscored, from Instagram asks a pretty simple one. The impact of dry fire or just dry fire practice in general. Since you don't really dry fire, I guess I'll answer this one. Um, I guess the impact of dry fire, it can be positive and negative. So it's just like anything. You can build good habits and you can build bad habits. If you're just starting to get into the sport, I would suggest buying a book. Ben Steger's book or Steve Anderson's books are both really good. I've never looked in the Steve Anderson book, but people have told me, and I've listened to his podcast, and I've used the Ben Steger book. I have it on my phone on the Kindle, so that's a good place to start. But you can also really learn some bad habits in dry fire, and I kind of noticed that last couple of days, like last week when I was dry firing, because I was using a timer, and so I quit using the timer because I think when the timer goes off, I try to go too fast, and I'm dealing with not seeing the dot, getting a bad grip, things like that. So when I work my dry fire during the season, like this week, these last 2 weeks, I've been getting ready for this match. I'm not gonna get any faster in the next 2 weeks. Like I'm not gonna take time off my draw. I'm not gonna take time off my reloads. I'm not gonna be able to drop 5 seconds per stage or for the whole match. But I can just work on being consistent. So that's what I've worked on in dry fire is good consistent draw, good consistent transitions, good consistent transitions and reloads and things like that. So um, I think dry fire practice is good, especially if you're switching divisions. When I switched from limited to carry optics, shooting the dot was kind of difficult because I was sitting there having to search for the dot. And so me spending the time to actually be able to index and find the dot and doing drill and drill and drill. Like during the summertime, I dry fire like 30 minutes every day. So I also think quality over quantity. If you start dry firing, you get tired, you start having bad habits, stop. Mike Stoker on the podcast talked about that. Once you start building bad habits, stop feeling it, stop, because then you're just going to build bad habits. So anything you want to add to that?
I have nothing to add to that.
Question: why don't you dry fire? You don't see the value in it, or what?
I will. I will for a little bit when I'm out in the shop, just a little. I just, I think what it is, to me, I would rather like pull the trigger and have the gun actually go off. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? As to dry firing, I'll do like target acquisition or something real quick, and do that a couple of times. But I think I get bored with it early.
God dang millennials. God dang boomers.
Well, I mean, you know, it's a lot different when you pull the bang switch and it goes bang.
Yeah, I know. I
I
got you.
know, and I guess that's part of my mentality. But I don't have
Um,
as much free time as you do either. So,
that's- well, yeah, I have a little bit more time off. Yeah, I guess that's true sometimes. Um, what I do, think you could do is I found these Chad Bolteron, had him on, the owner of Pride in One Holsters. He posted this video of him using like these YouTube videos of dry fire drills, and they're like animated targets, like swingers and like different target arrays, and like the person gives you the commands, like, "Are you ready? Stand by, beep," and then does it, and then it
you
tells you things
dry
to do.
fire at the computer.
You can do it on a TV, and I tried it the other day just to try it. It's kind of cool. Be a good way to mix it up. Just kind of target transit, especially with swingers. I don't have a way to practice swingers and try practice or real practice, so might try it out.
Well, that's a good idea. Maybe you should put that YouTube deal in your link so people can look at it.
Yeah, I'll do that. There's a whole bunch of them. There's a lot of IPSC ones, so it's a
A lot
lot
of
of
what?
IPSC. IPSC is.
Do they get penicillin for that?
Oh, shit. IPSC is like the international. God dang, I need a new co-host.
Oh, okay. I get
Y'all,
where you're going.
if y'all stay after the podcast is over, I'm be doing co-host applications. Shoot me a message on Instagram. Needed a co-host. Sean Hines, somebody. Yeah, they have a lot of IPSC targets. So if you like, it's not USPSA. There's a few of those, but I'll put a couple links in the description. Y'all can check them out. We have
Good idea.
2 more questions. So whole lot of freedom. Thanks for the question, man. Definitely, check out those books. Hit the dry fire. It's good. Now that work is slowed down for me, I'm going to try to dry fire a little bit more during the week. And the season's kind of like almost over. This weekend is kind of like my nationals, quote unquote. So, but I'm going to keep doing my thing. All right. So I have this question is from Instagram. It's from American_dog. He says, "Why not H&K?" I guess why we don't use H&K. The reason why I don't use H&K is because I am not that rich, and I shoot carry optics because I can't afford open, and I live on a Dillon Square deal because I can't afford a 650. So there's your answer for your question.
I would love to shoot an HK, but I'm in the same boat.
There's this girl that shot the match with us the last match I shot at River City, and she was shooting HK, but she left one of her mags, and so her boyfriend went and bought her a mag, and it was like $50 for a freaking magazine. And I know 2011 mags are like $140, but yeah, I mean, my neighbor has an HK, a 40, the VP9, the 41, or the VP40, whatever it's called, and I've dry fired it. I shot it once at the range. It's nice, but yeah, just too expensive, man. You're really just paying for the name brand, and you and I both like shooting the Glocks. A lot of parts for them, a lot of holsters, a lot of accessories. Can't really beat it. So,
Well, I think going back to there's a lot of gun snobs out there.
yeah, there are. And HK, and I heard HK is like going out of business or bankrupt or something like that. So,
Really?
yeah, I thought I saw it on Instagram on a meme or something, but you never know. You never
Well,
know.
remember, I'm still trying to get my high point in an open deal here. We're
You got to
working on
shoot.
that.
Well, you're gonna shoot open single stack. How many
Yeah,
mags? Gonna have like 1,000 mags on your belt?
yeah, but we're gonna go open, man. We're gonna have the everything tricked out on that thing.
Well, there
It's
is a
gonna be the.
company that would like
It's.
to work on a high point open gun.
I tell you what, it's gonna be so butt ugly,
Mm.
but it'll run.
It'll do something.
You know that gun will run.
We'll see.
It's ugly, it's heavy, but it'll run.
It's kind of like you, but without the running part. Oh, God. All right. So this last question comes from Alter Performance, my boy Alter Performance, who has been on the podcast before.
Which
I
one
want.
was he?
He was the one that had never. He shot he had never shot USPSA. Shoots IDPA, and he's getting into USPSA. He actually wants to be on the podcast again. So I think you would like him. He's a real nice guy. So maybe we'll have to get him on soon because he really wants to get back on because he has a few more USPSA matches under his belt. So we'll get him on and you can talk to him too and harass him.
All
So,
right. He
all
doesn't
right.
shoot PCC, does he?
No, he shoots production.
Okay.
So it says it would be cool to talk about all the upgrades you can still do and be compliant in a certain division, let's say production. I don't really know much about production. I know that they have a list of guns. There's some certain things you can do, like you can put, if you have like a CZ, you can put like the different grips on it because they're technically factory parts. I'm not sure what you can do with the internals. I think you can change trigger springs, things like that. I know some of the CZ and Tenfolio hammers you can change them because now they're factory quote unquote parts. Um, but that's all I really know. I know on your mags, they have to be, OEM mags, but you can put like those base pads on them, like the brass base pads. Ben Stager makes some, and they're really nice. They're the shock bottle ones. They come off real easy, and they just help you have to do 1,000 reloads in production anyway, so they kind of help you with that. We can kind of talk about our divisions. So, like with you in limited, you can pretty much do anything you want except put a dot on your gun, mag well,
Right.
have your holster wherever you want, have your mag patches wherever you want. For me, Carry Optics, my belt is the same production as the same setup as production. But I can have slide cuts, window cuts in my slide. I can have stippling on my gun, and I can have 140 millimeter mag. So my division is kind of like production, limit, and open had a baby because the belt setup is the same, but then like the dot and the stippling and all that is a little different. So, of course, you like when you have production and you have you know whatchamacallit, carry optics. There's a certain weight limit you have to be. Really, with the man Ultra Performance, I don't know too much about production, so you might ask around, Google, look at the rules is what I would do. Look at the
Yeah,
rules
USPSA rules.
because I don't want to steer you wrong, man, and you get like disqualified or something.
Go back to what she said. What were you talking about? The weight?
So in certain divisions, your gun can't be has to be a certain weight. So I think it's like carry optics, single stack, production. Um, that I think your gun has to be like less than 44 ounces. So
So that rules out the high point, doesn't it?
how much is that? Well, in open, it don't matter. You're going to weigh 1,000 pounds, I think. Open, there are no rules. Just don't shoot anybody, really. That's like the only rule. So, but yeah,
Interesting.
I think upgrades are good. Kind of like going with Brian Knowles' question. You put a new trigger in your gun, it's not going to make you a better shooter. You stipple your gun, it's not going to give you a better grip. It's just little things. When I first got into shooting, that was kind of what I was all about, the upgrades. So I kind of learned. I think everyone kind of goes through that phase, maybe because I was young and dumb, but everyone kind of goes through that. So
My new trigger works in mine pretty well.
yeah, I can never get that other trigger to work. I'm trying to sell it. If you want to buy an agency syndicate trigger, hit me up. I'll sell it to you for a good price. So I think those are all the questions we had. Let me just double check. I don't think we have any more
Did,
questions.
didn't have any last minute questions.
No, I'm not sure how many people like our Facebook page. Um, so hey, why don't you go ahead and tell your PCC story?
Oh, we had a guy in my squad that was shooting it, and he was a nice guy. I was talking to him a little bit. I'm trying to be a better person. Anyway, he got up there and the first stage, and I mean, no issues. He just ran it real good. Every stage after that, he had jams. He had major malfunctions, major issues. And a couple of times, I want to go on record that I was a nice guy. I went and held his case for him while he was making ready.
Oh man.
And a guy next to me who shoots both uh, limited and PCC that I've shot with a lot, he asked me what I was doing, and I told that guy I was holding his purse. I know what it's like being at the mall with my wife now.
Oh man, that's funny.
But
That is
we
pretty.
laughed it off. But it was funny. I can't figure out why. Like the very first bay, man, the guy that was the one that was 34 rounds, no problems whatsoever. Then after that, it just went to crap. You think that the mags are dirty, getting the gun dirty? You think that's part of it? I just can't.
I, I don't. So
And I'm being serious when I asked this question. I'm not
my
breaking
buddy,
anybody's
my buddy
balls.
Adam built he built a PCC, and he was shooting it the other day at my little range I have, and so we were shooting. He had bought some steel case ammo or some aluminum case ammo, and he had some brass case ammo, and the brass case ammo fed fine, worked great. But then we put that aluminum case in, and we were getting light primer strikes. And I think what was happening is in that chamber, there was no like luminosity. That the
Viscosity?
viscosity. There you go. I don't teach science. The case wouldn't go all the way into the chamber, and it was getting caught up. And so I don't know, it just wasn't firing because I would put the bullet in my gun and it would fire. So, and you could kind of tell like on the cartridge it was scraped. I don't know. I felt like
Well,
with
I felt sorry for this guy because one of the issues he reloads, and he was running some red tip bullets, and I picked up some of the ones he kicked out, and it scraped the bullet nose so bad that it took the red off.
Well, it could just be his thing is not I don't know. It could just not be tuned right. I don't know. You really have to tune those things, but I don't own one, so I wouldn't know about that.
But I was trying to talk to him about it because, like I said, I was intrigued at why you can go right off the bat and run 34 rounds, but after you throw your mag in the dirt a couple times or something, and after that it goes to crap. So, if you're a PCC shooter and you're not scared, call us and answer some of these questions.
Yeah, if you want to be on, I actually have a friend, my buddy Dan Beal, who be shooting with soon. He actually shoots IDPA, PCC, and he shoots USPSA, PCC at IDPA. So that dude is extra gay. I know you're listening to this, Dan, and we've had this conversation, but you're extra gay for all three of those. So, just wanted to put that out.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything. You're gay, Gey, gay. Get a real gun. That's what that stands for. Some other missing words. It's not a great acronym. It's not a great acronym. So that's all we got. We should have a decent show with the two combined pieces. We're sorry about that. Don't know what's going on. Sometimes, Skype is crazy. Technology doesn't always work. Is there anything you want to plug or talk about before we jump up out of here?
Well, since we started recording this on Sunday night and we're a little bit late, I want to thank all of the veterans that served our country on Monday.
Yes,
for Veterans Day.
We appreciate you and everyone that is still deployed and still in the service.
Still active. Yes, thank you for your service.
So thank you. I will be at Area 59 Championship this weekend. So if you're listening to this while you drive to Houston or whatever, feel free to come up and say hello to me. I'll be posting on my Instagram. So if you want to follow me and see where I'm at and stalk me, follow me on Instagram so we can meet up and I'll sign some autographs for a very nominal fee. Maybe I'll knock down my price by half. So
did you got anybody good enough to video
in my squad? I don't even know. I got I was looking at my practice score yesterday because I was supposed to shoot in squad 301, but there's not very many people shooting this match, and so they kind of rearranged the squads because I was supposed to shoot what was it? I was supposed to shoot stages 7 through 12 one day and then 1 through 5. And I was excited because the 7 through 12 are a little bit easier. There's not as many swingers and things like that. But just like looking at this match, it's still open. It's only open for like another hour, but there's only 106 spots left.
Wow.
So like in carry optics, so in C class, what I'm in, there's 9 people. Carry optics, there's 37. Limited, there's 38. Open, there's 33. Production, there is 18. Lim 10, there's 1. Revolvers, there's 0. Single stack, there's 1. And then PCC, there's 16. So a lot of C class, like GM, there's 4 GMs, 12 masters, 8 there's 40 C class. So I feel like there's like a lot of regular people shooting this match, I guess, because it's after nationals and people are just kind of done with shooting. So if you guys are interested, come find me. I'll be there. I won't be there all day Saturday because I'm going to go home and rest. Let me just see who's in my squad real quick. Let's see. Actually, Max Michelle is supposed to have a class. He's having a class the day before, and then I think he might be shooting the match.
That's cool.
So maybe I'll get to go see that guy. So, but yes, so
Doesn't
guys,
he live in Texas?
No, he's like from Louisiana or something. I don't know.
Oh,
Max Michelle is. All right, so thank you guys for listening to our great little podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at PracticalAsBuck. You can follow my co-host here, Dad Charles, at C31 Leatherwood. You actually posted about reloading and shooting. I was like shook. I didn't know what to do with myself. Very impressed.
Oh my goodness.
You can go to the Facebook page. Go to Facebook, search Shoot, Reload, Repeat Podcast. Everything I post on Instagram also goes to Instagram. Goes to Instagram. Everything I post on Instagram goes to Facebook. So if you don't have an Instagram, you should get one. Quit living under a rock. But you can do that. Follow us, like our page, and then you can kind of connect with us. So that would be great. But yeah, so we appreciate you guys listening. Is there anything you want to add before we leave, sir?
Good night, folks. And if you're traveling to Houston, be safe.
Yeah, come say hi. Maybe we can have a chat and we can talk to each other. So thank you guys for listening. Make sure you check out our socials and shoot fast and don't suck.
Right on.